much.
Ready to do this BinBusters thing?
Yeah.
Here it's pretty popular.
Here it's cold as ice. But...
Am I starting or are you starting it? Let me try this one, Doug. Let me try this. You just sit over there.
Here we go.
This is where it gets a bit of the problem. I don't ever start right.
Is this normally how it starts? You guys bicker a little?
We do, and then as soon as we start, it just flows, doesn't it?
You know who does that? My mom and dad.
Thanks. Thanks. This week, BinBusters, we're on the road. We're joined today with Matt Harbridge. We're at his farm, at Harborough's Farms. And we're going to talk to him a little bit about what he's done. He kind of called us out last week in the episode. He wanted to be part of the group. So we're going to see what he can do and see if we can accept this challenge and see if we can beat him this year.
Yeah, I did throw it down quite heavily last time. I said I'd love to come on the show and help you guys out. So here I am, ready to help you guys out.
I don't know that you're going to be helping us out this week, Matt. More like we're going to help you out. But I think today we're going to talk a little bit about, some of the practices you guys have here on this operation. One of the big things that stands out that you guys talk about, and we're used to, Doug and I are a little bit, about the continuous corn and how you guys manage that and what are some of the steps you do. I mean, Doug, you want to chime in a little bit on that? Or
Absolutely. One thing that I notice here and comparing it back to some of the other operations you and I walk is when we get into the continuous corn is the disease. A lot of this corn out here where we were earlier today, I didn't see a lot of disease pressure. So you're obviously doing a lot of things as far as genetics, hybrid selection, as far as picking the ones that can handle disease, and also having probably a really good fungicide protocol that you're working with your local agronomist on, making sure you're making that decision as well. So like I say, when we walked some of this corn, we had a little time waiting on you to get here, and we were kind of scouting around a little bit and kind of seeing where you were at.
I'll tell you what, for a guy talking some trash, what do you think?
you got some solid corn, man.
Yeah, man, I can tell. If you look at this is actually 5370. I can tell by the ear structure. See how it's got that little bend in it?
Yep.
And these babies are 18, 20 right around.
Planted about 35K.
Yeah. The stand count I got back there was right at 34.8. We'll have to check to see what he dropped it at. But
I'm thinking he's bringing some competition to us.
He's bringing a little heat. He's going good.
Disease pressure is very minimal.
Yeah,
did a great job.
Looks good. They've managed very well on that. I mean, 5370, he's got a good disease package with it as well. But,
I'm excited to see what he can bring to us. But
yeah.
We got our work cut out for us, but he's also...
Fortunately for us, he's late, like always, so we can get out here and scout around. I do like the looks of this corn. It's 5370. Really pretty. And I really don't know. It looks all right, man. Let's go see if he's got some beer.
Okay. So what are some of the things you do, Matt, to manage for disease? Or I guess, give us your corn-on-corn operation. I mean, what do you do? Like, what's some things that stand out to you?
Well, something we do, I guess let's back it up to the planting stages. Usually right in the fall time, about this time of year, we sit down with our agronomist, which is Keith Bolrath at the Newport facility here at Heritage, and we talk about the hybrids and varieties that went well. What are we seeing? What's our plan next year? And what are we going to do in certain fields? And the past 2 years with the economy of the grain markets and stuff, we make decisions on trying to make sure that we're getting the best bang for our buck and return on investment, as well as doing the best job we can growing crops. So we sit down at first and we start electing the fields. And you know what? More times than not, last 2 years, we've done a lot of corn after corn. And the fields you're talking about, we've had 3 years of continuous corn. And, it starts with hybrid selection, and we make sure smart stacks is always an option. That's your first step, and we made sure to include smart stacks as something to mitigate against some of those risks of corn after corn pressures. Secondly, we step up and we decide, are we going to no-till, or is there some sort of tillage that we need to do due to maybe some compaction issues that we had from the previous year. We had a wet year last year, so typically we're no-tillers, but we did chisel plow and subsoil till it to prep the ground because we did have some compaction issues. We got that out of the way. We fall burn down the no-till acres, and we go into spring with a good burn down, and we plant the timely conditions and good conditions as we can. And this year, going into 2021, we're going to outfit our planter with some row starter options and stuff. We did not have that in the past year, but we're going to evaluate the benefit of that. We think that'll help with the corn on corn, because I think the same trend is going to happen. We're going to have more corn on corn acres.
So Matt, with the corn, continuous corn or corn after corn, I mean, are you seeing you have to pay that carbon penalty? I mean, that's one thing we always look at. Doug, you can chime in on that. You know, we always have to pay that carbon penalty. You know, help break down those stalks, increase their nitrogen a little bit. Is that something you guys are doing, or?
Yeah, we've had to increase our nitrogen rates and our fertility in general. We try to add it where it's needed, and we're aware. And I tell you what, after the first year, this might seem, maybe you guys have run across this in your experience, but after the first year and the second year of corn after corn, that third and fourth year, and we're getting ready to go into the fourth year on most of these acres, it starts to get pretty level and starts to even out. Like you don't see as big a penalty as long as you're treating it with the right amount of fertility and nitrogen and sulfur and stuff. But man, we just go into it knowing that it's a little bit more than you're used to, but it's actually worked out really well for us.
It had a bigger return on investment at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with your corn and your disease, what was your decision on fungicide? I guess walk me through the product of choice that you'd used here, the timing. Had you seen disease prior to that application, or just more of a preventative stage of the game?
When we sit down and make the hybrid choices with our agronomist, we also kind of make our plan for the whole year, kind of like you guys do in your everyday life with your growers. I mean, we decided and committed in our budget, in our plan, that we're going to do fungicide, and without a doubt, it was Delaro from the beginning, and we've used that product several times now in the last couple of years, and we're not reactive to disease. It's being proactive, so we don't really wait for it to show up. We just plan on doing it at the right time, and our choice has been that later application with the airplane. So
Absolutely.
we have not run across where we needed to do it. We did a strip this year in the field, did it at I think V5 with a little bit of Stratego, and then we followed it with Delaro. So we're going to see if that has helped us. We tracked it. We used Climate Field View, and that all helps because we do have a lot more pressure out there. We're aware that there might be some different insects and different disease pressures that we're not used to fighting on the traditional rotation.
Absolutely. It'd be nice to see the results from that trial, Jonah, and kind of see if it relays back to some of the trials you and I have going on with that two-shot approach as well.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because the field that we did it in was actually no-till.
Okay.
No-till section. We chose to do it. We should have did it in both, but for some reason we must have forgot to do it in the conventional till ground. But it was in the no-till, so if there is going to be pressure, I would assume that's where it's going to be.
Absolutely.
Some other things, Matt, we run into, obviously, you spoke about with the planter, you don't have a whole lot of options yet on it, like an in-furrow or anything like that.
It's relatively new.
It is, it's a new planter with you guys.
With it, correct?
Yeah,
First year with it.
We upgraded planters, and we actually outfitted it with all precision, everything from head to toe, down pressure, smart firmers, the whole ball of wax, and variable rate. So we're pretty excited about that. We've never had that capability, and just the information that we have, I mean, it just makes us feel more comfortable about what we're doing and doing it right. Because before, you had to get out and dig, and we still do that, but you just feel better knowing that it's tracking the data as you're moving, and you can actually see it.
And when you talk about the starter attachment, I assume, working with Heritage and your ag tech lead there, you're probably going to make a decision for furrow jets.
Yeah, the furrow jets, and we're going to probably dive into possibly some more options too. But the furrow jets are probably one thing that we're going to do.
Absolutely.
And give us some options there that we didn't get to do this year. And with the corn on corn, I think it's pretty much a must-have, I think, to help mitigate against some of that.
Yeah, and I think that'll be a huge step for you because what you're doing here is working, and I think, throwing that starter piece in there with our starter conversations, Jonah, you and I have always had this season, I think that'd just be the icing on the cake.
Having the starter, and then also gives you the option of the insecticide in furrow. I mean, I think, Matt, you brought it up too when you're here, when we were talking a little bit before about the, insect pressure we're seeing today that, we haven't seen in the past, the some of the rootworm feeding and everything else, and, manage that risk also that way, along with the smart stacks.
Yeah, and especially, you talk a little bit about the in-furrow piece and an insecticide, maybe looking at like a capture LFR or something like that has the ability to be mixed with that liquid fertilizer. But looks like you're, as far as accepting the challenge, it looks like you're bringing the heat and doing a lot of things right. I'm kind of excited to see where this where this heads.
I'm excited to see it. I mean, Matt's got the soil definitely to beat us, but I think we got the agronomic knowledge, Doug, that he doesn't. You know, he's going to be lacking that, and it's going to be hard for him to make that up, even having everything in his ballpark.
He's not working with you, but he is working with Keith, so Keith's pretty solid.
Keith's pretty solid, but hopefully we can get Keith on here one day, but I don't know if that'll happen or not. So I guess my thing is I'm going to challenge Keith to step up and see if he can help Matt succeed and beat us, but I don't think he can.
So last episode, we got challenged. This episode, we're going to challenge Keith Vollrath to come on the next episode.
I like that.
And walk through some of the agronomic practices he's doing with his high-end growers like Harbage Brothers Farms here to see if it kind of aligns with what you and I are doing. So.
What you guys been doing?
Actually, we tried to fix this jack right here. I don't know what you did, but it's like messed up. It really, like, how do you break a jack?
Well, we were trying to measure the test weight of a bushel of corn, testing it out in the field.
We were going to film it here today, so Jonah and I don't know if you can see, but we actually swept the floor.
I'll clean your place out for you. Look at that.
Yeah, we kind of cleaned it up a little bit. So
Well, it'd be nice to you.
looks good.
Hey man, where you been?
Technical seed agronomisting.
I left the hunt trip early to be here today. You show up 4 hours
Late, long, expensive. It's kind of like the old saying, you're slow, but you do poor work.
I like it. I like it.